Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Fatima.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are here representing Miami University of Ohio. Again, thank you so much for joining us. So we'll be with you for the next 15 to 20 minutes, giving you more information about Miami University in general, about being an international student here at Miami. And hopefully we'll also have an international student who also happens to be an athlete join us during the last 5 minutes of the webinar. We're not sure if she'll be able to make it, but we definitely hope so. So like I said, my name is Fatima. I am an assistant director of international recruitment here at Miami University, and Canada is part of my territory. I haven't been there yet because I've been in this position for just about a year, but I'm hoping to make a trip up to Canada pretty soon. So I'll get started. I know a lot of you are probably wondering, why is Miami University not in Florida? Well, here's a fun fact. Miami University was actually a university before Florida was even a state. So in fact, we are the original Miami. We were founded in 1809 and we are what's called a public Ivy. And basically what that means is we are one of a handful of institutions here in the United States who will provide all of our students a quality of education that is comparable to what one would find in an Ivy League, but at a much cheaper price. So Miami University is a great place to be. Our quality of education speaks for itself, and our international students that come here really enjoy the experience that they have. So our most popular programs, especially for international students, include anything in the engineering field, as well as anything in our business school, our Pharma Business School, which is one of the top business undergraduate business schools here in the United States. Our average class size is about 30, and we have a 17-to-1 faculty to student ratio. And what that really means is that our students here get to really know their professors on an intimate, on a personal level. So a lot of the classes, if not most of the classes that you'll be taking, will be taught by teachers and not by teaching assistants, for example. Our main campus is located here in the city of Oxford in Ohio. We have about 19,000 total students, 17,000 of whom are undergraduates. And again, our main campus is here in Oxford. We have around 2,800 international students that are coming from over 90 different countries. So when you come to Miami, you'll definitely get that American college experience, because we also have students who are coming from all states within the United States, but you'll also meet students from all around the world. So you'll definitely get a global experience within the United States. As far as our application process, it is pretty simple. We do have our application, which is available on Common App, and it has actually been available as of August 1. We have an application fee of $70. We also require students to submit financial documents as well as their transcripts for the final 4 years. As a student from Canada, you will not be required to submit an English language exam unless you're from Quebec. So that makes it much easier for students in Canada. As far as our tuition and fees, it's about $55,000 a year. However, we do offer substantial scholarships to all international students, including athletic scholarships. In terms of GPA and test scores, we don't necessarily have minimum requirements, but I will let you know that our upcoming class had an average GPA of 3.78 and an average ACT score of 28.1. So again, we don't have minimum scores necessarily, but that just kind of gives you an idea of where our students are standing academically. In terms of scholarships, since I mentioned the ACT, we do have a merit scholarship that is available to all international students. And the great thing about that merit scholarship is that it's guaranteed to all students, as long as they have a 3.5 GPA, a minimum ACT score of 26, or a minimum SAT score of 1230. So that is a great option for international students. But again, that is just one of the scholarships that we offer. We have plenty more for international students. So in terms of courses, especially those taken at the high school level, we do not require AP or IB courses. However, if you are taking AP or IB courses, that is definitely to your advantage because you can receive college credit for those, depending on the class and your score on those exams. And one thing that we really focus on here at Miami University is the outcome that our students receive once they leave Miami. And for our international students who graduated last fall, 96% of them either held a job or were continuing their education at the graduate level by the next semester. So you can see that at Miami, we really emphasize giving our students hands-on experience, especially in terms of research, in terms of internships and co-ops, because we really believe that the education that they receive at Miami here should allow them to get a better future once they do leave. We also have lots of opportunities for students while they're here on campus. We have more than 600 student organizations. So whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're interested in, you will find a student organization for students like you. And that is a great way for especially new students to meet other students who are into the same things as they are. And if by any chance you're into something that doesn't have a student organization for yet, it is super easy to start one. But you'd have to be into something kind of very niche for that to happen because, again, we have more than 600 student organizations on campus, including the International Student Union, which is also a great union that a lot of our international students will participate in to sort of showcase their countries and their cultures by putting on a lot of events around campus and throughout the year. Actually, I forgot to mention that we are at the Goggin Ice Center, which you can see here at the background. They're actually working on the ice right now, so you might see somebody going back and forth. So hockey is a very popular sport here at Miami, and we are an NCAA Division I university. So we do have sports being played at the highest level here. And for any students interested, my colleague here, Aaron, can talk more about being an athlete here at Miami.
Sure. Thanks, Adam. That's a great summary of Miami University and the programs and services we offer for our over 2,800 international students here. Again, my name's Aaron. I'm a Senior Associate Director for International Enrollment here at Miami. I've worked here for 16 years, so I've worked with a lot of international students from all over the world over the years. I also went to school here, so I've kind of made this my home. I did want to, before we talk a little bit about international student athletics, I did want to kind of reemphasize some of the things Fatima had said regarding tuition and fees and costs, because that is probably the biggest question we get from our international students. The full tuition for a non-Ohio resident as a public school, we have a tuition rate for people that live in the state of Ohio, and then another rate for everyone who does not. So if you live in another state or if you live in another country, you pay that same rate. That rate is about $35,000 per year, which when you add tuition fees or housing, books, food, and all of that to it, comes closer to about $56,000 a year, which we know is certainly expensive. That's kind of the bad news. The good news is, as Fatima mentioned, we have some great scholarship programs for our international students. Last year, for our students who are starting here in a couple of weeks, 64% of the international students we admitted were offered a scholarship. So almost 2/3 of our international students are offered an academic scholarship. And the average scholarship amount that they were offered was about $17,000. So that's an average. So some students certainly had scholarships maybe $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, and some had scholarships that were significantly higher than that. That doesn't exclude our international student athletes, which I want to talk a little bit more about now. As Fatima mentioned, we're an NCAA Division I institution. We actually have 18 sports for men and women that competed in the NCAA Division I level. So for those students, there are athletic scholarships available. We have I just learned this the other day, we have about 31 international student athletes here at Miami, which has been on the increase. Just a few years ago, we had less than 15. So that's been an area where we've seen more student athletes coming to Miami from outside of the U.S. Popular sports for which our international student athletes come are women's field hockey, women's soccer, where we have a number of Canadian student athletes participate. Of course, see behind us, ice hockey. Men's ice hockey is a big one as well for some of our international student athletes. Other questions we get would be sports like men's and women's basketball. I don't know if I mentioned tennis, women's tennis, and track and field and cross country are other big ones. In terms of, I often get asked, how do I get an athletic scholarship in the U.S.? And that's really kind of goes beyond what we do as admissions folks. It's really driven by the coaches of the individual sport. So the first thing I always recommend to interested students are to, find out who the coach or assistant coaches are for the sport you're interested in, and then really reach out to them directly. Specifically, if you can provide information, for example, if you're in track or swimming or something like that, provide information on events and times. It really gives them something to go on. You may have to reach out to them more than once. I mean, as you can imagine, the students get a lot of, or those coaches get a lot of inquiries. So to make yourself stand out, sometimes you have to contact them more than once. Another question I get is that depending on the sport, not all athletic scholarships are full 100% scholarships. So depending on your sport, you may be looking at a scholarship that is maybe a portion of tuition, or maybe covers tuition but not housing and food. And then, of course, what everyone is looking for, there are those scholarships that cover 100% of the costs of attendance, pretty much. So there's a wide range of athletic scholarships that are out there. So that's something to keep in mind, that depending on your sport, there may not be large 100% scholarships, or there may be, and those are kind of determined by NCAA regulations and other factors. All of our people who wish to be international student athletes, they are required to submit SAT or ACT scores as part of their application. So that's an important piece. And that, combined with the student's grade point average, are really what determines whether or not a student is eligible to participate the NCAA Division I level. The third factor in that is kind of the coursework that students take. The NCAA requires that you have so many units of math, English, science, social science, things like that. So again, the main takeaway on international student athletics are really to reach out to the coaches of the individual sport. They're really the point people on recruitment of international student athletes, and are usually pretty good about telling you whether or not you'd be a good fit for their program.
Great. And then I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the different services that we offer to international students on campus. And those services really start even before students get to campus. So as Aaron mentioned, we are in the admissions department. So typically our team is the first point of contact with international students, prospective international students who are looking to come to Miami. And we are available at any time to answer any questions that the student might have, and to really guide students through the application process, letting you know what documents you need, when you need to submit them by, if you have any questions on your high school courses, if you are having issues whatsoever with the application or any part of the process, we're really there to support you. And students can reach out to us by email or through our Facebook account. We also have a WhatsApp account, which is really popular. So students will, send us a message through WhatsApp, and we're pretty good at responding right away. Now, once students get here, we have the International Student and Scholar Services Office, which then becomes the main contact point once students are on campus. And International Student and Scholar Services Office is really great with international students. They will provide any support that you need while you're in the US, including anything related to immigration, because that is something that international students have to be on top of while they are in the United States. And really any issues that students run into, we are here to support them. And besides that, in terms of academics, we also have plenty of services that are great for international students. For example, we have the Writing Center, where students can go and get any type of support that they need, especially in terms of writing, because I know there's a lot of differences sometimes between other educational systems and the US education system. We also have different libraries on campus where students can go to study. We have tutoring services for students as well. And this is accessible to all international students, whether they are athletes or not. And it's free of charge. It's included in what you're paying to attend Miami in general. So really, while you're at Miami, any situation that you run into, any sort of help that you need to, and it's not just limited to the academic side, but on the personal level too, we have a team of advisors who are here and really dedicated to helping our students, making sure that you're having a great experience while you're here. So once you're here at Miami, there is no need to worry about having all the support that you need, because it's definitely here. And in terms of security, Miami is also a very, very safe campus. I myself was also a student here at Miami, and I can tell you that during my 4 years here at Miami, I have never run into an incident where I was scared for my safety. And the safety and well-being of students is something that Miami takes very seriously. So we have a on-campus police department that is also available to help students. We hope that you'll never need their services, but in the rare cases that you might, they're definitely here on campus to help you out. And one of the services that they offer is actually, let's say you're studying late at night at the library and it's 2 a.m. and you do not want to walk home alone. You can definitely reach out to the police department and they will walk you safely to your on-campus housing. We also have a hospital that is available to students here. We have a student health center that is on campus, but we also have a full-fledged hospital that is in the city of Oxford and very, very close by. So as far as security, Miami definitely takes it very seriously. And as I mentioned, we are a very safe campus. Another thing that students also want to learn more about is food. Miami is I think we have won more than 35 awards when it comes to the quality of food here on campus. So we have lots of different dining options that you can choose from, and they are spread all over campus. So, and they really also do a good job at trying to incorporate international cuisines within their menus. So food is also pretty good and easy to find here on campus.
It's a great summary. I think that pretty much covers it. Just one final thing. Thad was talking a little bit about safety and mentioning the safety of campus, and that does extend to the community of Oxford. Oxford's a small town. It's a college town. So by U.S. standards, it's a comparatively very safe place to live. In addition, a lot of our international students find that it's an inexpensive place to live in terms of cost of living. It's going to be a fraction of what you'd find in a major metro areas on the East or West Coast. So that's something we like to point out, and I think that's a pleasant surprise to a lot of our international students who are coming from major metro areas from around the world. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, great. And then I also one final thing. I forgot to mention about housing. So in terms of housing, all students, including international students, are required to live on campus for the first 2 years of their college career. After those 2 years, you can choose to remain on campus, or you can rent an apartment around the area, which is what a lot of students end up doing. But for the first 2 years, there's definitely a requirement to live on campus here. So I guess that we're coming to the end of the stream. Unfortunately, it looks like Laura, our international student, is not able to make it, which is very unfortunate because she was very excited to come and talk to you guys and share more about her experience here at Miami as an international student athlete. However, you guys will definitely have our information. And if you'd even like to speak to Laura on a personal level, feel free to reach out to us. Again, we are available by email. We are on Facebook, on WhatsApp. We also have an Instagram account. At any time, please follow us, like our page so you can hear more from us. And feel free to reach out at any time. We are definitely here available and ready to answer any questions you might have.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for joining us.